oh my gosh, Megan, you made it. Hey.
I was like waiting in our in the inbox between us, like, do I get a link? How does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish there was a way to like send a link for an invite because that's usually what I do with StreamYard is like, yeah, just use this link and join the studio. But Instagram Live is very different. And so here we are. But thank you for figuring out and making time for me.
No problem.
So I wanted to have you on because you are doing a ton of things and you just started another branch of your show as well. So like for those that might not know, what is Vigilante Vibes? What's your mission with the show? And then what are all of the things that you have going on in the comic book space right now?
So I have a podcast called Vigilante Vibes Podcast. It's a non-toxic Marvel podcast, which it doesn't mean there won't be negative opinions or anything. It just means that you'll never hear me use the word woke to describe a Marvel movie. And it's completely inclusive. Right now I have another series going on that is called Elevating the Nerdy Voices of the Rainbow, where I give a spotlight to a different nerd of the LGBTQ plus community. And it's been pretty amazing. I was very nervous about it because I'm not in the LGBTQ community other than an ally, so I couldn't relate. So I was really nervous, but it's actually been really great.
Yeah, that's cool. And you just started doing that, right?
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah, I was recording for a few weeks and then I started dropping them when I was like, oh my God, like a lot of people were like, I want to. I thought I'd get like 4. No, I got like 20.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you have them on, like, is it what their experience is like being comic fans as part of that community?
No, it's honestly, I leave it completely up to the guest. Some want to come on and talk comics. Some want to come on and talk about their journey into the LGBTQ community. Some just don't want to talk about it at all. They just want to be in a safe space. So I let them do whatever they want to talk about. We talk about it prior, and the episode is completely theirs.
That's cool. I love the your willingness to take to like create a space and then give that space to them of like a hey, let's just be positive people. Like let's just do that because I feel like in 2025 we just need more positivity.
Yeah, things are scary in the world. So it's like the more safe spaces, the better.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So with Vigilante Vibes, tell me like what the direction for the show is right now with like how do you find all of the guests that you have on? I
network a lot. I get to know a lot of people. The thing about the podcast community is that it's not like YouTuber community, nothing, Twitch community. You make friends. You actually form relationship with these people. And like Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, I've met so many amazing people that I want to come on my podcast. So I ask, most of them ask me, and we do a collaboration, and it's just forming these friendships, creating these bigger safe spaces.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like I remember when Threads started,
yeah,
and like finding and tapping into the comic Threads community, it was just like, oh, like this feels like opening just like group texts. And I saw somebody post that like Threads is like opening my favorite like group chat with everybody, and I open it and I tap into the comic threads and we're all just hanging out talking comics. And I was like, no, that's exactly right. Like that's exactly what this feels like.
I've never heard it being said that way, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Threads is easily my favorite social media. I know I'm going to go there and not get a headache and not get just kind of beaten down by all the negativity in the world. Like Blue Sky is fine, but no one talks on there. It's just kind of there. And Facebook is Facebook. Instagram is dead. I forget I have a TikTok daily. So
that's one that I never got into TikTok. And once I started this. I was like, I've been non TikTok for so long. I can't do it now just on principle. Like, I got to continue not being on TikTok.
It's not it's nothing. Like everyone said, "Oh, you're making a podcast. You have to have a TikTok." No, no, you don't. All the views you'll get, the followers, it's so self-contained into the app. It's like this isn't helping me. I'm not getting to know these people. It's nothing like that. It's just TikTok. Just it's just the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Chris just said like TikTok is for watching only to me. And like, that's my wife has one, but she only ever watches stuff. And like, that's it. That's all she does. And I have enough apps to watch stuff. There's enough things that want to take my attention that having another thing is just like, I don't want that.
That's exactly what it is. It's one other thing. And it's like we have a lot going on already. I'm so bad at answering messages already that TikTok gave up on me and just starts emailing me now saying, "Hey, this person commented," and I'm like, "Sucks to be them. They ain't getting nothing back from me."
And there's something to be said too, though, about like knowing where to prioritize your energy, right? Like, I realized early on, I don't have to be everywhere for everyone. The
Yeah.
people that want to engage with the show find me where I'm at. And I love them for that. And also, like, I quickly went from, well, I need to have a show fit profile for everything and my personal profile for everything. And then it was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing, because I'm ending up posting the same stuff on both anyway. So,
Yep.
like, whatever. So, like, do you have a, like, I don't know, a social media plan or like a marketing strategy for how you like post or publish or promote the show?
No. No. I
Perfect.
think at the beginning, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to invite these people. I'm going to have all these people on board. I'm going to do giveaways, everything. And now I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. I'm okay. Because it's like, everyone kind of gets into it thinking someday I'll get paid to do this. Enlightenment is when you realize I'm probably not going to get paid to do this. So just do it out of pure passion. And once you
Yep.
do that, it's like promoting means nothing. Not a single thing. I'm having fun
Yeah.
and I don't care.
Yeah. And I love, like, I wish more people understood that, because I even hate telling people at like networking events or whatever, or like going to a wedding and you only know like the couple and maybe one other person, but you're at a
Yeah.
table full of 10 people that you don't know. And the
Yeah.
question always comes up like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I'm not going to put you to sleep. Like, oh, I work in customer service at a bank. Like, I would love to snooze you to death. And then it comes up like, well, yeah, I have a podcast. And it's just like, I can't not do the like, because so often it feels like the people that have those that haven't realized, like, you're not going to get paid to do this. The top 2% of podcasters get paid. And that's 2% of like 6 million
Yeah.
people that have a podcast globally.
Yeah.
So like, it's not going to be us.
No. No, really, the payment is the experiences. Because I know you've talked to some really incredible people on yours, and it's like you can't pay for that kind of stuff. That's stuff that's memories that's gonna last a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. I regularly, and I say it as much for me as I do for anybody else that happens to be tuning in. Like, I didn't start this to get paid. If I did get paid, I would love that. But I realized, like, I'm not going to get paid to do this.
Yeah.
I started it because I like the relationships that I'm developing. I like that, I have people on, or that people like Daniel, who just joined, like, he mailed me a copy of his comic just to share it with me. Like, that's so
Yeah.
insanely cool. And I've had several creators that are like, hey, I want to send you my book, but like, I want to mail it to you.
Yeah.
And I never in a million years would have thought that that's what was going to happen. But here we are. And so I'm like, I'm not doing this for the numbers. I'm not doing this I don't even know where the analytics are to figure out how many times my podcast has been downloaded. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, I have my podcast on every platform because it's like they make it so easy to do it now. Just Spotify for creators, super easy.
Yep.
But it's like I have never once gone out of my way to look at the amount of downloads, the amount of listens, like who's the statistics of the listeners, who's the more male and female. I'm not doing that. I'm not people people like what I put out because it's very niche and I like it too. So if one person enjoys it, I'm good. But also like I will gladly do anything for a free t-shirt. So like if I just get like one a year, I'm good. I don't need to be paid. Just that's it.
Yeah. And so on top of doing the pod, you also are like heavily involved with Nerd Initiative. Like, and what's on the horizon with Nerd Initiative right now? Since I've been out of the loop.
Oh, we're just growing like crazy. There's so much happening. Like right now, comics is always happening. So we're always thriving there. TV and movies we're building up now because this is the year to do it with everything coming out. So
Yeah.
if anyone is listening that is interested in doing movie reviews, please let me know. But yeah, just covering all sorts of nerd culture. But we're getting into the busy season with conventions coming, and I'll be at GalaxyCon Richmond in a couple weeks with Hops Geeks News, Matt and Lauren, who are also part of Nerd Initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remembered about GalaxyCon Richmond like 4 hours ago. I was like, wait, oh crap, when is that? And now like looking at it though, I'm like, I can't, there's so many conventions that I wish I could get to. It's just the like, because being in the Midwest-ish area, like if it's less than a 20-hour drive, we're driving. But
Yeah.
then the reality of that is like that's more time that I would have to take off work, and that's time, money for gas and then hotel and all. Like once you do that, it's like, ooh, that's a lot of like. I really want to go to this thing, but like Indie IC3, the Indie Creator Con, is happening this weekend up in Massachusetts, I think, and like there's like 7 people that I've had on my show that are going to be there, and all of them at some point have reached out like, hey, are you going to be at IC3? And I'm like, man, no, I can't. It's a 14-hour drive.
It's so hard. And plus you have to think like usually I get sick after every single convention. Every single time for a few days I'm sick. And you have to recuperate. It's so much. It takes a week to do this whole like one day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, conventions are the best. Like I love being at conventions.
I do too. We have a good one in DC, which is it's about like an hour and a half from me. It's Awesome Con. It's only for DC, which
Oh
I
yeah.
really like, but oh my God, it's so much work. And like your body hurts the next day and you're like, I didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
But it's wild. I love it.
Yeah. So outside of everything that you have going on, Vigilante Vibes with Nerd Initiative, with for being a full-time mom as well, like how do you have any time to do, and like how do you unwind or disconnect from all of that?
Well, I do two things. I really like jigsaw puzzles. I
Okay.
really like jigsaw puzzles, but I can only do it when my kids are asleep because they're the devil. I also make nerdy furniture so as like a side hustle. So that's been really fun, but that is so time consuming and so messy. Resin is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, because you cut
Bookkeeper.
up like comic pages and put like the individual panels sometimes,
Yeah.
like wrapping
Yeah.
tables and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a refurbished one. So I just kind of it's a lot of free like the free comic book day ones that people just kind of get rid of that are damaged,
Yeah.
or I go online and look locally like for damaged comics, water messed ones that are messed up with water damage, and I got so many. So it's like this is what I'm gonna do, and I have so much furniture in my basement, but I live in an area where there's like no nerds, so it's just sitting there.
Mm. Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, how would anybody find it if they wanted to procure a piece from you?
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that question. You can just message me on Instagram and I'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
I've never had someone ask me that, so that was great.
You know me, I'm bringing in the hard questions over here.
You are. I should have been prepared. It's on me. It's my fault.
Fully. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you gotta sell all of the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Or why are you selling any of them? Like
yeah, like my whole life is just nerd stuff. 100% of it is just nerd stuff. And you think you get sick of it, but then you're like, oh man, but I could really go for an X-Men tattoo right now.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I had $1 every time I've had that thought. I already have I had an idea of doing like an upper sleeve of heroes, an upper sleeve of villains, and then like connecting the two somehow. And I was just
heroes.
Like, I don't have like the anti-heroes or like
connecting the two with anti-heroes. Oh my god.
Yeah. But then I was like, ooh, that's so much money.
So much time.
So now I'm back to just, I don't have any X-Men tattoos. But I really I would love to get one. I would love to combine my love for Scooby-Doo and my love for X-Men. And you know how like Scooby gets scared and jumps into Shaggy's arms and Shaggy's holding him as he's being terrified? Instead of Shaggy, I would love for that to be Wolverine.
Oh my god.
And Scooby is like jumped into his arms being scared. I want that, like that's the tattoo that I want. But when I tell people, yeah, I want a tattoo of Wolverine holding Scooby-Doo, they're like, oh my god, that's so morbid. I'm like, he's not killing him.
It's not his kill. He didn't hunt him. They're just, have you ever seen Scooby-Doo? Oh my gosh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because that's like if I could have mascotted year-round, I never would have stopped. And I was Scooby at our local theme park, and like I had so much fun doing it. And like the faces on the kids as they like realize, oh my god, I'm meeting Scooby-Doo, were just the freaking best.
I was one of those kids. I went to an amusement park as a child called Carowinds in North Carolina. Yeah, and they had the Scooby-Doo roller coaster, and during the summer they'd have Scooby-Doo outside it. I was like, oh my god, it's Scooby-Doo. Oh my god, he's here.
Yeah. And then you get close and you're like, oh my god, he's a 7-foot tall dog. Holy crap.
Like, the camera adds 10 pounds.
So how like you pre-record your podcast and then drop like how far into the future are you already recorded or booked?
3 months. Like the posting, I lately I've been posting like 5 days a week. So like I would say like a month and a half, 2 months.
That's crazy.
It's
like how do you keep up with that?
With an anxiety disorder.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's
once upon a time I did have a co-host who only wanted to do 1 episode a week, and none of it was comic related because he hated comics. So now like I'm on my own. I have all these ideas I wanted to do for like 2 years, and they just keep coming and coming. Like Friday is gonna be Who is Moon Knight in the comics. Tomorrow is gonna be an episode of Elevating the Nerdy Voices. It's like it just keeps going, and like every day I'm like, that'll make a good one. Like today I'm like, I bet you no one knows who Firestar is. And then I had to tell myself, like, Megan, stop, don't do this. There's not enough days in the week. You're getting weird.
Yeah. Or there are enough days, but there's not enough hours in a day to record, produce, come up with topics, research when you need to. Like that's the problem.
And I have to do it
for me, like work a full-time job. Yeah.
It's like you'll hear her in the background. She's just being the devil. But yeah, then you have to like record around them, and like a 20 like a 20-minute episode, that's usually like 35 minutes I have to edit down because just someone asking me for a snack or just mad at me for some reason.
Yeah. I love that Tom just called you the Mistress of Marvel, though. Like, I feel like that's a very fitting title.
I love that. That's the second time he's called me that today, and I love that.
Today?
Yeah.
We're making it happen.
Yes, yeah. I love it. I love Tom. He's
So
amazing.
what, like, is it all Marvel all the time? I know when I came on your show, we were talking horror comics because I can't not talk
Of course.
horror comics. I don't know how. And I saw Jay pop in earlier, and he's got a fun horror comic that's about to drop on Kickstarter. But like, have you dabbled at all in horror comics?
I've read some the more thriller ones, the psychological thrillers I've
Okay.
read. For my podcast, when it's episodes that are just me, it's just Marvel. But my guests, like I have guests from all different walks of the nerd culture, just like you were there with the horror
Yeah.
comics. So I'm trying to learn more about all this stuff that's outside of Marvel.
Yeah. It's hard though. Like, especially when
Oh,
you're as buried in Marvel as you are.
I know, because you look at everything with like Marvel colored glasses. Like, man, he's he's a little bit like Deadpool, isn't he? And it's like you can't be that way.
That brings up that classic debate of like who was first, Deadpool or Deathstroke, because
It's
they're
definitely
so
Deathstroke.
similar.
It's definitely Deathstroke. Deadpool was not there before, but like you're still kind of like you're pulling from all Marvel. You're like maybe someone thought about it before.
Yeah. Yeah. Was Layfield talking to people at DC at the time? Like, I have this idea.
I could go on for years about Liefeld. He drives me bananas, man. That's the kind of toxicity that I don't want. Like
Yeah.
that. It's just constant negativity, it's constant anger and whining and just trash talking other people. And it's like, thank you for being such a good
Yeah.
example of what I don't want.
Of what I never want to be.
Yes, exactly. Or the kind of person I want in my podcast, because all of my guests, I make sure they're all very much on the same wavelength of the toxicity and inclusion.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to promote someone who makes racist or homophobic comments.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you, because you're so inclusive, have you, and as like most of my questions, this is a question for me. How do you, like, when you have someone on your show that has very different views on things than you do, how do you navigate those waters, or do you just keep things like, let's talk comics related?
It's happened a few times lately because I will not talk politics on my channel. I won't do it. I think there needs to be spaces where it's not there.
Yeah.
And I've had a few bring up the current politics that's happening, which I kind of expected it to happen at some point with elevating nerdy voices.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like, okay, well, let them get it out. It's their episode. It's fine. Or if it's something like they completely disagree with me about, like I had someone say, I don't even like Marvel, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. My whole podcast. But like, that's your opinion. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't have any impact on me. I'm okay. I will survive. But I've yet to have anyone come on that was exactly the opposite of my goals. That was just toxic to the core. I've never had anyone. I've had rude people, very, very rude people, but no one that racist, homophobic, nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had, thankfully, any of that either. I just like, because I'm what I like to call an atypical Christian. Like I, go to church every week, and I do that, and I've worked at a church. I grew up in churches. Like, all of that is very real for me. And also, like, I'm a punk rocker who says that I'm like politically anarchist. So like the whole no politics, no anything is very hard to like reconcile
Yeah.
sometimes. And then because I know that like church hurt is real, I just don't, and like I've experienced it, and I'm a church person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I like, anytime religion or anything like that comes up, I'm like, please don't attack me. Like, please don't attack me.
I feel that I'm in the same boat with Christianity. I'm a Christian, but I also have a podcast that's super inclusive. So I feel like, God said, love your neighbor. That also involves the trans neighbor and the gay neighbor and the black neighbor. And, I feel like there's not enough people kind of speaking on that little gray area. So when it gets brought up on the podcast, you're like, I'm a Christian, but it's not what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to try and confront. I'm not going to hit you over the head with the Bible. I promise.
No burning crosses here. We're fine.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things that like, I like having those conversations because I'm trying to get comfortable in my discomfort because of the like church hurt thing of like, right. So that happens. So I should be the one that's got the positive take on the like, yeah, but that's not everybody. Like there are still people that actually understand like Jesus taught love your neighbor and like become all things for all people. So like that doesn't mean judge. Like we're not judges.
Yeah. It's not our job. We're perfect? Get out of here. Yeah. Like there's probably a million trans people who are way nicer than me. It's not up to me to decide who's better than who.
Yeah, not even a little.
Yeah,
but
no.
Yeah, for the most part, like things very much are usually like, oh, I'm going on an indie comic podcast and we're talking comics and punk rock, and so like we'll talk comics and punk rock. But if it comes up, I always have that momentary like, and I just
because you're usually live, right?
Yeah. I do all of it live now. Yeah.
Oh, that's so stressful. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
But going live right now is fine. But like that's because I've prepared myself for it. But going live like all the time, I'm too anxious for that. I can't do that.
Yeah, so I'll show you. I jot down notes. Here's a decent note thing. So like I know you can't read it, but I'll have the name of the comic, like what we're talking about mainly, and then other things that I want to bring up. And then as I have the episode, I'll write down notes for like additional random thoughts that I have. And like that's for me, that's all I need. But I also have a theater background. I have a radio broadcasting background. So like live is just my comfort zone of just, I don't want to like over produce something because I've listened to podcasts where you can tell it's clipped, and I'm kind of an audiophile nerd where I'm like, or snob level almost of like, I can hear every single cut that you made, like every single one, and that's distracting.
Yeah, I try when I edit, it's like I don't do what some podcasts do where they take like every empty word, like the word like, they take that out. Like I saw someone say the other day, just remove 500 words from my podcast, and it's like, why? It's real life. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'll remove it if I'm reading something and I just do horribly, horribly wrong, or I have a child in here. I'll remove her too. Because to be fair, I'm in her room, so I can't really complain too much. But still, give me some time.
Right. Right. Just like 5 minutes, please.
I don't ask much. I birthed you. Just give me this one solid.
Have you found yourself saying things that your mom said to you?
Yeah. I find myself calling my kids the dog's name.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you become a parent, you lose all self-control of whose name is whose. Like, it does not matter. Like, her name is Amelia, and I have definitely called her Simba today, like 3 times. And that's just how it goes. Or, oh my gosh, or I'll give you something to cry about, or what are you even crying about? What's wrong? And I'll hear it. I'm like, man, that used to piss me off as a kid. Now here I am pissing my own kids off. It's so nice.
Yep. Yeah, my mom always used to say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. And I never said that to my daughter, but I definitely said things that I know my parents said to me. And or like we were going on a college visit because she's 18 and is about to like graduate high school and do all of these crazy things.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I gotta be like the cheesy, corny dad for a second. Like, here's all of my dad-ism sayings. Like, don't trust every boy you meet. Always keep an eye on whatever you're consuming. Like, don't do stupid stuff. and like all of these things. And she was like, Dad, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, good. I'm hitting the right notes. If you're giving me the eye roll, like, come, please, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those, and I have 2 daughters, and that's just gonna be the worst to go through that, and then add a little. Those shorts are too short to go out of this house in.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
So much fun. So looking
You're in
forward.
for so much fun.
So exciting.
So now that we've triggered Tom and what else? You need a she shed, which I completely agree with.
I think I agree too. Man, you're
Just put all
preaching
the
to the choir.
marble. Just do
I have
your
so
crafting
much.
on the walls.
Dude, I have so much like just waiting because we want to like fix up our basement so I can have a whole room for that, and it's all just sitting there. And I'm like, I'm just about to deck out this living room, this hallway. Christmas is going to be so lit. And my poor husband's just like, no, we're not. We're not.
Dude, man.
He's like, I live here too. We're not.
Right. Just, work in like a whatever he's into section of the basement to be like, yeah, we're doing this for us. I just have a larger podcasting studio that I need more space for, but here's this corner for you.
He's 100% down for whatever in the basement because it's not what you see. Like, he doesn't care about any of this superhero stuff, nothing. So it's not, so you can't see it. Like, Christmas, there will be Christmas decorations. There won't be Tony Stark holding a giant check as a Funko. God bless him. He puts up with a lot.
I just got lucky that my wife also enjoys all the like comic based movies.
Aww.
And then I'm the one that's like trying to get her into reading more comics. And so I've at this point bought her enough comics that she has a short box of her own. And I'm like, cute. I have 12 long boxes, 2 short boxes, and this. Like, let me know when you get to a point where you've got more to keep up with me.
So she's
but like
almost the short box punk.
Yeah.
Aww.
She's basically the short box punk, but like less punk. She's the short box nice girl next door.
Nice lady.
Yeah,
that works.
Very much that. So where can people find you on? You're on everywhere except don't do anything on TikTok because you don't check it. But like, where can people find you?
You're just wasting your breath at that point. I'm not going to respond. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting sucked in. But you can find me everywhere at Vigilante Vibes Podcast, YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, maybe Twitter. I think Twitter. But I won't respond there either. So I make it.
Yeah. I had deleted a ton of my stuff on Twitter. Because I was like, I don't want Elon training his AI on stuff that came out of my brain. Like, that's why I left. Nothing at all political. It was just, I'm anti-AI. So I was like, I'm deleting everything. But then the program I used didn't actually delete everything. And I got some email from Twitter about somebody like sending me a message or something. And so I like opened it and I still had a ton of posts and stuff like on my profile. I was like, well, that's not supposed to be there. So I just officially deleted it. I was like, whatever. I don't even, what's the point of having it? Because I'm not using it. I'm not opening it. I'm not checking it. I don't care.
Yeah, I only use it really to post once a week on new comic book day for because some of the comic creators aren't on other ones. They all stay there.
Yeah.
Like Corey Pettit. What are you doing, Corey? Go. Oh, what move? And then I'll delete it. It's annoying.
Yeah, there's definitely some people that only had Twitter that I'm like, can you just, I miss talking to you about comics. Can you just come to one of the other places, please?
Because some podcasts are still staying over there, or they have other accounts. They just don't use them. I'm like, please, the water's fine. Just jump in.
Yeah. It's really the same. If you just replace anything for Twitter, like it's the same. It's the same experience.
Yeah. Exact same, except you'll see less things that you can't unsee.
Mm-hmm. And you can actually like block people and mute words and all of that. Like, that's my favorite thing about Blue Sky is like that in starter packs.
I do like the starter packs. There, I saw you were the first one I saw use it, and I was like, "What is this witchcraft?" And I've loved it ever since. It's so easy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it was super helpful when I first joined Blue Sky because Tony Nacho, who I got the invite from when it was back and still invite only, he does the Comics and Chronic podcast with two other dudes, and like he's got a Kickstarter coming. He's going to be on my show, I think in April. But like he's got 8 different starter packs of comics people, and some of them are comics podcasters, some are creators, some are writers, some are artists, some are just cool comic people that post comic content. And so I very quickly just followed all of his starter packs, and anybody that's like, hey, I think I'm gonna join Blue Sky because it seems like that's where people are going, like, cool, when you get there, message me so A, I know you're there, and B, I'll send you all of Tony's starter packs and that'll get you started and you'll be set.
Yeah, and the one thing I do like about Blue Sky besides the starter packs is that it's the only social media platform that won't throttle your views for a link. Like they made it very clear we're never going to do that, and it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like someone actually likes us now because Facebook doesn't care. Instagram, you can't post a link on a post.
Which
Thread
is still insane.
Catch up. What are we doing?
Yeah. And then the people that use the cross-posting tools, if they include a link to go out everywhere, the link is there, but you can't even like tap to select it. So you still have to like click on their name and hope that they have that link in their bio so you can get to it. It's a mess.
It is a mess. They keep messing with links. If you guys are on Instagram and you have your link under your bio, make sure it's working. Because twice now, it just stops and takes you to another website. It's like, well, it's just a link tree. What is going on? So check that.
Yeah, very much that. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I have kept you plenty long enough. And I know Amelia just wants your time back, so I'll give her your time.
I think she just wants her room back. She's supposed to be in bed, but it's like there's no hood like parenthood. It's not for the faint-hearted, man. I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
But this was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so glad we got to collab again. I have to have you back on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw like Alexis came on with you. I was like, oh man, he's another one I want to get on here.
And, Cardoza?
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy. Just ask him. He would love to go on and talk comics and talk all the cool things he's doing, because he's also like really making moves in the nerd world. So like definitely ask him. He's awesome.
Yeah, another Threads person.
Yeah, that's where I met him, was Threads. I mean, he's been on mine twice, and it's always a fun conversation. He's such a good guy.
Cool. Well, I'll probably message him and see if he can join me in another 2 weeks. So
just tell him I sent you. We're close.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I'll name drop like crazy.
Go ahead. You're fine. I don't care.
Megan, it's always good talking to you. I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me. I don't know how to end these with an invite, so I'll just end it like I would any normal episode. Here's my tagline, punks. Go do what's good for you and read some indie comics. We are out of here.
Bye.